Hi, my name is Maya, and welcome to the episode 8 of the Mireille's Knitting podcast. Today is the 14th of October 2023, and I am coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. I don't have a cat, sorry. You can find me on Instagram as mireille's.things, and that's all. Today I have an obscene amount of finished objects to show, but actually I have so much I think I'm gonna cut this episode in two because I don't want to spend my day editing this. So I will show you only part of what I have knit in the last 3 weeks. So that will be the finished objects I am wearing, which is a finished test knit for Jessie May. And I have a new cast on, which I am already halfway through. I have knit so much, I don't know what happened. No, I know what happened, I was sick for a week. So I had a lot of knitting time. And actually, sometimes my voice still sounds a little bit weird, so if I need to clear my throat or something, I would just cut it out. But yeah, maybe we'll have a little bit more cuts today than usual, which I do have a lot usually, so probably won't change anything. But anyway, so yeah, I have 2 knitting projects, and I have got a bit of acquisitions today, yarny acquisitions, and also I got a book as a gift for my birthday. And regarding the yarn, I was curious to see, because I have kind of a loose goal to knit more yarn than I buy this year. And since I bought a lot of yarn this month, I wanted to see if I was still on track, so we're gonna have a little talk about my yarn stash at the end of the episode. And I think that's it. I will put links of everything I talk about down in the description box below. I will also put the names on the screen for you, and I will put my measurements in the description box below also. So I think that's it for the intro. Let's get into what I am wearing. So as I mentioned, this is a test knit for Jessie May from Jessie May Designs, and it is the framework Raglan sweater, I think, or just Raglan. I don't know, I will put it here. So I test knit size 2 for her, and I will say it's right from the beginning, this is not supposed to be short sleeved, but I modified it to be because I just prefer the look for this kind of fit, and I am really happy about the modification and the whole garment. There was no major thing that happened in the test knit, but actually there was, but I started knitting a little bit later, so I didn't see any of that. So it was just smooth knitting for me. As I said, I knit size 2. The yarn I used is the Rerum Natura. The base is Candid. I don't know if I remember that correctly, but I think it's 70% recycled cotton, 28% wool, and 2% other recycled fibers, I think. So yeah, it's mainly cotton. It's really lightweight. Like, cotton can be heavy sometimes, but this is like so airy. I don't know how they do it. It just I feel nothing on my skin, and it's really soft. I don't feel the wool at all. Sometimes in a blend like this, the wool can be kind of itchy for me, but here it's absolutely not. Like, it's really like store-bought clothes. It's just so soft. So yeah, I really like the yarn. I used exactly 150 grams, which is 3 balls for my size with the shorter sleeves. I think I would have used 5 if I'd made the long sleeves, which is exactly what's asked for in the pattern for my size, so I guess it's pretty correct. And I used 4.5mm needles, and the pattern suggests 5 because it's quite an open gauge. Jessie May knit her sample in fingering weight on 5mm needles. The gauge is 20 stitches by 32 rows per 10 centimeters, something like that. And I didn't want to use fingering weight because I usually don't wear underwear, and I didn't want to wear this over something else. So I really didn't want the fabric to be see-through, so I used the sport weight. And this is a thick sport weight. It's almost a light DK. And I used the slightly smaller needles. However, I exactly hit gauge. I have never been so exact with gauge in my life, ever. So yeah, I think I think it was a pretty good choice for the project. As I said, I didn't have any issues with the pattern in itself. I have to say the first few rows are kind of difficult because you have the Raglan increases that's starting at the same time that you have the slip stitch detail that's happening, so you have a lot of stitch markers and not many stitches, and it's kind of difficult to know where to put the increases and the slip stitches, but everything is very well explained and you just have to be in a quiet place for maybe 1 to 2 hours and then it's okay. It's just smooth sailing, but for the beginning it's kind of challenging, I have to say. But yeah, apart from that, it was pretty easy. I chose to make the waist shaping. Maybe you can see. Yeah, this part is bigger than this one. I did exactly as it was instructed in the pattern, for once. It doesn't happen often for me. Yeah, and I'm glad I did it because I have a lot of positive ease. Wow! Positive ease here at the top. So yeah, I'm glad I chose to do it. And once I was finished with the body, I decided to continue with the sleeves, and that's when I decided to do them short. So usually when I knit a sweater or a t-shirt, I do the sleeves first to exactly the length I want, and then I knit the body to whatever length I can get with the yarn I have left, because that's how I roll. I'll always play in yarn chicken, apparently. So in this one I had 5 balls, and when I decided to do it short-sleeved, I had already bound off the body because I thought I would have more than enough yarn, so I didn't need it to do the sleeves first and then the body. But actually I decided to do it with short sleeves, and I had about 1/3 of my third ball left, and I thought maybe I can finish both the sleeves with this little bit of yarn left. So it was pretty epic because I knit like 10 rows on the sleeve and 10 on the other, and then 10, and then 10, and then 5, 5, 2, 2, until I ran out of yarn because I wanted to finish exactly everything I had, which is what happened. I managed to do the sewn bind off with just enough yarn for both sleeves, and I had like this much yarn left. So, epic win. I'm really happy about this. And the length is perfect. It could have been too short or too long since I just wanted to finish my yarn, but actually it's perfect. And I'm really happy. So yeah, this is my framework Raglan by Jessie May, modified to have short sleeves. I mentioned or maybe I didn't mention, I don't know. I had some troubles with choosing my size and the fit, because actually I think this is too big for me. Because yeah, I'm like floating inside it. And I like having a lot of positive ease if I have a round neck. But with a V-neck, I feel like I'm just like a kid that has taken her mom's clothing and it's just too big. And that's also why I decided to do short sleeves, because I feel like shorter sleeves go better with... How can I say that? If I have a lot of positive ease and a round neck, I don't care for short sleeve or long sleeves. But if I have a V-neck, I want something else to be small and fitted, because otherwise I get to this look of I just have clothes that are too big for me. And so that's why I chose to have the sleeves at the right size, so that I have like a contrast between something fitted and something more oversized. So yeah, I think this makes the thing work. Otherwise I think I would have just ripped out and knit a smaller size, because I think this is a little bit too much. And the reason I think this is too much is because the sizing for this pattern is a little bit different, because usually you use your bust size and you calculate if you need positive ease, you add some measurements, and then you choose the garment size that this measurement you calculated. But for this one, you don't use the bust size, you use your upper bust. And usually for the middle size range and bigger sizes, the upper bust is smaller than the full bust, which is pretty normal because at the full bust you have breasts that take more room. However, for smaller sizes, which is the case for me, the upper bust is usually bigger because we are flat-chested, and the shoulders just are bigger. That's how it is, usually for smaller sizes. Which means when I did the calculation, I took my upper bust and I added the positive ease we are supposed to have, So that meant I had a lot more positives at the full bust because this measurement is smaller for me. So that's why this is happening. And I had already sized down. I was like between sizes, and I was closer from the size 3, but I decided to use size 2 because of that, because my full bust is smaller. And I think I should have chosen size 1, really. I said that to Jessime, and she added in the final pattern, she added a little note on the sizing saying that if your full bust is smaller than your upper bust, you should use your full bust measurement for the sizing. So everything is well in the end for you that will buy the pattern afterwards. And I'm glad I managed to make it work with the short sleeve modification, because now it's perfect. And it's so soft and nice to wear. I can just throw this on whatever bottom I wear. So it's easy to wear, super comfortable. And there's just one tiny thing, like if I put my arms like this, you can't see it because you're in front of me, but for me, I have a gap that's forming there, and you can see there's a little bit too much fabric there. And that's emphasized by the fact that there is this knit column at the middle that folds the fabric naturally, and since I have a little bit too much when I do this, it just folds on itself. So that's the only fit issue that's making me reconsidering the fact that maybe I could rip it out and knit size 1, but I know I won't. So it's the only thing I could say about the thing I don't like about this pattern, but it's okay. Nobody notices. I know it's only me, because whenever I'm doing like this and I look down, I can see inside my chest, and that's why I notice, but I know I'm the only one. So I need to chill out. So that's it for this pattern. I don't think I have anything else to add. I recommend it. It's lovely, and when you are past the first few rows, it's really easy and nice to knit. And I don't know, it's on big needles too. It goes really, really fast. I think I finished this one in like 10 days because I blocked it in the middle because I wanted to be sure about the fit. So pretty easy. Oh no, there's one more thing. The I-cord, she suggests in the pattern a certain pickup rate, which I thought was suspicious from the beginning, at least for the way I am used to picking up I-cords. And I did go up needle sizes and pick up more stitches, and the tension is good. I think it's not too tight, not too loose, and I tried following her pickup rate with her needle recommendation. It was impossible to make it work for me. So I know there are as many ways to knit I-cords as there are knitters. So I was not expecting her to change the pattern following this modification I had to do, but she did add a note saying that if you need to change needle and pickup rate, just do so. So that's my note on that. I did have to change heavily the pickup rate for the I-cord. And this time, I think that's it. So for my work in progress for this episode, I'm gonna show you only one, as I said, because I have only one, because I finished the other 2 things I had cast on. So my work in progress is the Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow. I'm not sure if it's Clow or Clow, but I think it's Clow, Rebecca Clow, which is the Crea Bea on Instagram and YouTube. So I'm lost. Okay, so this is it. This color is everything. I love it so much. So as you can see, it's a sweater with a high neck, and we're gonna have a zipper in the middle here. That's gonna be sewn later on, and I have obviously joined the body in the round, and I have knit quite a substantial part of the body. I cannot say that word. Body. Sorry. And I have started a sleeve. So I have made some modifications, mainly to the back, because you are knitting the collar, and then you are casting on and knitting the back. And I have added like 2 centimeters to the back piece, but not to both front panels. The reason for that is that the armhole is not supposed to be symmetrical on the front and on the back. The back parts usually is bigger. If you take any store-bought sweater, I'm probably gonna insert a picture of a sweater that has a similar fit than the Lanark, and if I lay it flat, you can see sewing line on the shoulder and the joining point under the arm, and you can see the back comes over the fold, which means the back of the arm is bigger than the front. So usually to make up for that, which is in most cases not included in patterns, I just knit the back piece longer so that the shoulder seam comes a little bit to the front and sits more naturally here. Which also accounts for the fact that in this pattern, I think, for my taste, do what you want, but for my taste, there are not enough short rows in the higher part of the neck. So, and there is a zipper, so I don't really care for a neck to come too high or whatever, but I just wanted the shoulder seams to sit more to the front, so I just added a little bit more length to the back. And to the front, I didn't do any modification. And I think that's it. But because of this modification, I knew I would have more stitches in the sleeves. But actually, I ended up having a lot more stitches in the sleeve than I thought, like maybe 20 more than in the pattern. And I'm like, I have added maybe 6 or 8 rows to the back. How can I have 20 more stitches than what's supposed to happen? She does give you measurements for the length you need to knit the panels. Sorry for the needles that are clicking on the table. She does give you measurements in centimeters, and I'm never sure with those because I'm not sure if I should measure with the fabric like when I knit it in this stage, which is not blocked, which means since this is half fisherman's or half brioche stitch, it's kind of squished up, and when I'm gonna block it, it's going to relax in this direction, which means it's gonna shrink. So I'm not sure if I should measure the stitch when it's not blocked and shuffled up together, or if I should measure with the fabric stretched, which means I have to knit more rows to get to the length I want, because yeah, it shrinks in depth or whatever. So I decided to measure with the fabric stretched, because that's how it's gonna sit in the end. And I think I should not have done that, because that probably means I have knit too much rows compared to what the designer had done to get to those measurements, because she measured before blocking or without stretching the fabric. So I picked up too much stitches because I have too much length, basically. Which is probably why I have way too much stitches for the sleeves, because I follow the pickup rate she suggests, and I am used to being maybe 2, 4 or even 6 stitches off from the count, because when you give measurements you are not really sure how many rows you knit, but 20 it's a little bit too much. So I think that's what happened, and I can maybe do a quick try-on for you. I had to remove my t-shirt because it was too bulky underneath and it was getting hard to put on. Oh, it's so hot. This is how it fits. This is the collar. And everything is a little bit too small because it's not blocked, obviously. And what I meant with the gauge changing is that you can see here, the shoulder is sitting exactly at my shoulder point, but once it's blocked, the stitches are going to relax and fall down here. Which means the row gauge is going to shrink, and everything went up a little bit when I did that. Probably you couldn't see, but yeah, here it went up. And on this side, it's starting to drop a little bit because I have started the sleeve, but it's going to drop even more like this. So this is going to be less deep. And the sleeve is pretty intense. I mean, yeah, it's almost twice the size of my arm, which is okay because I do have big arms and I don't mind having too much fabric here, but yeah, I guess I did something wrong there. I shouldn't have measured with the fabric stretched. I should have measured when it was like this, and then I probably would have a sleeve that ends here. So it's not a problem in itself. However, I am suspecting I will have not enough yarn because I'm gonna use a lot more yarn for the sleeves, and I'm afraid I will run out for the body. Because in this case, I have 6 skeins, which is exactly what's called for in the pattern. And I'm lucky that... Did I mention the yarn? No, I didn't. So the yarn is Woolberry Fiber Company. The base is Berry Natural Decay, and the colorway is Shake Your Tail Feathers. And I bought 6 skeins. It's a non-superwash yarn. It's a non-superwash yarn, and I bought 6 skeins. And I am lucky because Woolberry's yarn usually have a lot more yardage than what's written, because the skeins, I didn't weigh all of them, but the skeins I have weighed were all 110 grams instead of 100, which means I have 660 grams, probably, something like that, instead of 600, which means I should have enough. But if I need such a bigger sleeve than what's supposed to be done, I'm not sure. Maybe I will run out. I don't know. I don't want to rip back. This is half fisherman's rim and it's taking so long to knit. Yeah, I don't know. And I also don't think... I think you can see it. There is a weird pulling happening in the flat parts. Usually I don't have pulling in the flat parts, but there it happened, and they kind of coincide, but not really. But I don't know what to think about it. I'm not going to rip out. I'm pretty sure once it's blocked and finished and there is a zipper and everything and my hair covers it, like, nobody cares. But I can't help but just look at it when I am knitting, and yeah. And also I think there is the same happening in the body, so it's nice. At least it's not the reverse. That would have been driving me crazy. I would have ripped out the whole thing. But yeah, there is just I look like a zebra, a teal zebra or something. I don't know. It's just weird. I have alternated skeins a little bit, like for 12 rows when I joined it around, because I was at the end of my skein, and when I joined the new one, I just alternate for a short time. Because I think this one is a little bit more green or darker than the top one. Not sure if you can see that. But yeah, whatever. I'm dying. I'm so hot. This is really, really an epic color. And the level of squishiness of this yarn is beyond any expectations I had. It's so soft. I think this is the best pairing of yarn and project I have ever done. Like, I don't know, I love this yarn so much. It's so soft. If you're sensitive to non-superwash wools and rustic yarn or whatever, try this one. Really. Like it's softer than this one, which is cotton. And yeah, there is zero itch factor. Like really, it's just soft and squishy and amazing. Yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. Anyway, so what I'm gonna do now, this is the ball I joined for the sleeve. I'm going to finish the sleeve and hope I can finish it with one ball until the end. I completely changed the decrease rates, obviously, because I had a lot more stitches. And I will block it, see if the length is correct and if I can really get away with one skein, because I have 3 left. No, 2. So the perfect way to do it would be one skein here, one skein for the other, and this is the left I have for the body. And if I can have one whole skein for finishing the body, I think it would be enough to get a nice length. I hope so. Maybe. If I block it, I think it will go here. And since this is very oversized, I would like the body to go like down here. The ribbing is going to take less yarn than the half fisherman's rib, so I think I can get to here. If I have a whole skein left. Worst case scenario, I have another colorway in not the DK natural base, but the fingering natural base, which is almost the same color, a little bit more blue, or a little bit less green. And I can use that for the cuffs and the hem, if I am really, really short on yarn. But I hope I won't get to that. So I think that's it for this one. I probably won't be finished next week, but I have 2 other finished objects for next episode, so maybe I will have finished the sleeve, probably I will, and we will be a little bit more sure about what's gonna happen with this one. It's so amazing, I love it so much. I think it was maybe one of my dream knits. Like, I love this shape of sweater and the half fisherman's rib and the color so much, I just wanted to own it and wear it. And in this yarn, I'm gonna live in that. I'm so happy. I cannot wait to be done. Okay, I'm gonna take this off, I'm too hot. Is there too much sound outside? I don't know. Anyway. So now we are going into acquisitions. And I wanted to have a little speech about my loose goal this year to knit more yarn than I buy, or in other words, to get my stash a little bit down from what it was at the end of last year. However, I don't even remember how much yarn I had left, so I don't know how I can check I actually reach my goal. But yeah, I am using, to keep track of my stash, I am using the Knit and Note something app, which is a really simple, easy to use and straightforward app, which acts probably a little bit like Ravelry, but it's easier to use and it's an app. You don't need to go on the website to use it. I have to say, you have to pay for it. I pay like $30 a year, which is really not too much. I'm okay to pay that. However, it's not the most stable application I use, because if you do a little bit too much at the same time or are too fast in your operations, it can crash. I'm not sure if it's something that happens only on Android. I don't own an iPhone or Apple device, so I don't know how it happens there. But yeah, I just need to be a little bit slow on operation on it. But other than that, yeah, it's just super practical, super helpful in my day-to-day knitting life. I really, really love it. Anyway, so this app tracks how much yarn you own and knit. And it also counts the weight, so the grams, the meters you knit, because you enter the specifications for every yarn you own and use in projects, and it just does the calculations for you. And it also calculates the number of balls or skeins and the number of projects in the overview. So I usually use the grams, because the meters, I'm not sure I was really, really accurate when I entered the yarn specifications. So I mainly use the grams as a reference to know how much I have knit. And I think last year I was at something, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 kilos, which can seem like a lot, I know, but actually you're pretty quickly there. And also I have some of those macrame yarns that are really, really heavy. I have like 2 kilos of that, which is not a lot of yarn to use because it goes fast, because it's thick. But yeah, there is a big part of my stash that's those kind of things. And I have a lot of unspun yarns, and I keep track of my leftovers, which are also counted as stash. So yeah, and the main thing is that last year I knit exactly 10 kilos of yarn. And I didn't count when I frogged, or projects that didn't make the cut and I just put in the naughty corner. So I have knit and crochet even a lot more than those 10 kilos. So yeah, basically I have zero chill. I knit a lot, and I have a stash that can last me a year approximately. So that's not that much actually. Anyway, so my goal was to have less than those whatever 8 or 9 kilos I had last year. And with the yarn I have bought this month, I think I am at 9 kilos. So no change, which is good because I have bought a lot of yarn, but I have also knit a lot of yarn. So I'm on track for me and my expectations because I just didn't want to go higher than what I had last year. I did do a little calculation for the last 3 months. I thought maybe I could just count how many I have bought and how many I have knit since the beginning of August. I don't know why I chose this date, but I just thought, let's count 3 months of knitting. So I have bought 1,750 grams of yarn since the beginning of August. And I have knit, including this work in progress, which is, I am 300 grams into it. Can you say that? Maybe. So I have knit since the beginning of August. I have knit 2,220 grams, which is like 500 grams more than I have bought. So for this summer, I'm on track. And until the end of the year, I am counting, sorry, I have knit 500 grams more than I have bought, and I am counting the 1 kilo of yarn I have next to me. So I'm chill, I think I'm on track, I think I'm gonna be okay until the end of the year, and I have some projects planned that will get my stash down, and when I get my advent calendar and the pre-order I just bought, I think I'm still gonna be at a net negative for the year. So I'm chill. I'm happy with myself and everything is good. So let's go into acquisitions. The first one, I talked in the last episode about some Dutiden yarn, which is made by the company Honor Oak Air, which is based in Sweden and makes unspun yarn with natural and untreated wools. And that's it. So I mentioned in the last episode I had bought some yarn from them, and I bought 2 colorways. The first one is this one. This one is trip. It means something else in French, so I can't help but find it funny. It was described as a dark grey by Caroline, which is the owner and maker of this yarn, and it's brown. For me, it's just brown, like dark brown. I wouldn't describe this as grey, and I don't like brown. But it's okay. I can see how it's beautiful, and also I could wear it. I know I can wear it. I wear a lot of not dull, but how do you call them? How do you say when it's not colorful, like it's neutral? Yeah, I can wear a lot of neutrals, even though I really prefer colors, but in the end, neutrals are so much easier to wear. That's what I wear the most. So I could easily knit myself a sweater in that. However, that was not the plan. I wanted to knit Arctic Morning Blanket by Jenny's Hope, and I wanted this to be the background color because I have quite a bit of leftovers and small samples of colorful yarns that I didn't know what to do with, and I thought I could make this blanket using one leftover or sample for each hexagon, using this as the background color. And I still think I can. I just need to try one hexagon and see how it works. But the problem is I didn't buy enough. I bought 500 grams. Soft. I bought 500 grams knowing I would need 1 kilo of just this colorway. But I didn't buy 1 kilo because I wanted to buy another colorway, and there's only so much money I can spend in a single order of yarn. So I bought only 500 grams because dark grey is a colorway that comes pretty often, I would say every few months, from the maker. So I thought I can just wait until the next dark grey comes up in the collection and just buy that one. But it's brown. But it will be difficult for me to see a dark brown that's similar to this one because I could see only grey when I bought it and when I saw the pictures and the videos Caroline put online. So I'm not sure how I can really confidently find another colorway that will be really similar to this one. Which is why I am hesitating to use this as a background color for this project and maybe just do a sweater and wait for the next true dark grey to come up and buy a kilo of that one, for sure. So yeah, that's what's happening with this one, and I'm not sure. I will just wait. I have a sweater to finish, and the next yarn that I will be showing I want to cast on also, so this is not for right now. I still have a little bit of time to decide. The other yarn I bought from them is this one. It's so beautiful. This colorway is named Amanita, like the mushroom, and it's just a bright red, and it's so beautiful. I really love jewel tones, as you would have maybe guessed by the other work in progress I showed, and also the next acquisition I'm gonna show. And yeah, this one is like red, ruby, how do we call them? Yeah, ruby red. I love it so much. I wasn't expecting them to do such a bright colorway, but they did, and I just had to buy it, like I had. And I bought a sweater quantity, which is 500 grams, and I am planning to knit totally tubular turtleneck by Park and Knit with this one, held double. However, I think I won't be able to use the pattern as is because first, I think I will be off gauge. Second, I think when I look at the pictures, I'm pretty sure it won't fit me because, as I said in previous episode, I'm really particular about the fit of my raglans, and I really can't stand first when the collar rides up and when the back goes too low down in the back. I hate it. And I kind of know now how to make a raglan fit, so I'm pretty sure if I buy the pattern, I won't even use the numbers. Also, if I'm off gauge, I really won't use the numbers. And apart from that, I know how to make a turtleneck, and I know how to make a sweater, so I'm not sure I will need that pattern. So maybe I will just buy it to give credit to the designer and just do my own thing. I don't know. I will wait until I'm almost done with my Lanark before casting on this one. It's funny because this one is really, like, it's soft, but it's also very dense, while this one is so light and airy, and it's so squishable compared to this one, which is, yeah, much more dense. And it's just funny to see the difference in texture with yarn that are made by the same manufacturer. I just love it. Really excited about this one. So yeah, this is my next cast on, I think. My last yarny acquisition is this one, which is another jewel tone yarn. It's the loveliest green. Like, it's the same as my plant, literally. Oh. Yeah, my plant is lighter, but yeah, this is yarn from the Rerum Natura, again. It's the base Antigone, which is 100% French linen. And the colorway is Jardin, which means garden. I bought this because if you saw my previous episodes, you saw I made a Tolstati by the Korea Bea in this yarn, but in grey. And I love it so much. I wanted to knit another one, so I thought, yeah, we are going into winter, but I don't care, I'm gonna knit a linen t-shirt, whatever. So I went into my local yarn shop, one of my local yarn shops, because I knew they had this yarn. and I wanted to buy 3 bows because I need 2 and a little bit for the sweater, for the t-shirt. And my boyfriend and I, we have a wedding coming up in 3 weeks. And the theme of the wedding is, how do I translate that? I would say a hint of green, or maybe a touch of green, something like that. That's the theme. So I am planning to knit a bow tie for my boyfriend and a hair bow for myself, like an Augustine's number 22, which I have a whole collection of. And I do have a green one, but it's a dark green, and I just wanted something more obvious for the wedding. And also I wanted to match with my boyfriend, and yeah, I just wanted to buy another skein to make something for both of us. So I wanted to buy 3 skeins, 3 balls, 2 for the t-shirts and 2 for the bow tie and the hair bow. But they only had 2 in the shop. So I went to the lady and asked, do you have 3? And she searched everywhere and she didn't. So I said, oh, you don't have 3? Okay, I will only take 1. She was like, what? How can you go from 3 to 1 if I don't have 3? So I had to explain to her, no, that's because I wanted to do a t-shirt and accessories, and since I don't have enough for both, I will only do the accessories, which means I only take 1 skein instead of 3. She was like, okay, I understand. It was a little bit weird without context to say that, but yeah. So that's why I bought 1 ball of this yarn, and it's a shame because a t-shirt in this colorway would have been just exquisite. But I will probably have to wait for next year when they get a restock from this yarn, or just find another colorway, or go to another of my local yarn shops. So that's it for this one. And that's all for the yarn acquisitions. The last one is a book I got from a friend of mine that also knits a little bit, not as much as me. And I had my birthday party a few weeks ago, and she bought me this. I didn't even ask for it, I didn't say anything, and she just thought I would like it. She's just so cute and thoughtful. And it's funny because this book, it was all over Instagram before it went out, and now it's still all over Instagram. And I knew I would really love it, but I was preventing myself from looking too much into it because I knew I would want to buy it. And I'm trying to not acquire too much stuff because I will be moving in a few weeks and I don't want to have too much stuff to move. So I'm waiting until after the move to maybe buy stuff. So I didn't want to buy books. So when I saw this book coming on Instagram, I was like, no, I won't watch it. I won't go through the post. I won't read the text. I won't get interested in it because I don't want to be tempted to buy it and to be disappointed if I cannot buy it. But she bought it for me. And yeah, it's just 1 book, like it won't be that difficult to move. I'm not stressed about that, so I'm just so pleased she thought about me for this one. I had never mentioned it to anyone, so it's just a pure coincidence that she thought I would like it and that actually I do. I had seen 1 image from 1 embroidery that I completely fell in love with. I was like, when I saw it, I think I stared at the picture on Instagram for maybe 10 minutes. I was like, wow, this is so beautiful. I'll try to find it. Oh, it's this one. Can you see that? I love it. It's so pretty. So yeah, now I can do it. I'm really, really happy about having this book. I think I would have never bought it because that's just how I roll. I try my best to not get interested in stuff, to don't be tempted to buy it because I'm kind of going to go minimalist. But when I own them, I'm so happy. I'm like, why do I do this to myself? If I want stuff, I just need to get it. But yeah, I'm Anyway, now I have it, and I'm glad my friend know me and made me such thoughtful and nice gifts, and yeah, I'm just really, really happy about it. Yeah, and I think, and that's it, I think, for today. Yeah, that's everything. I do have a funny story to tell you. I have no idea how long I have been for. I don't know, I can see. So, as I said, in the last 3 weeks, quite a lot of stuff happened. First, I did a birthday party with my friends. We did a, how do you call them? A murder party. So basically, I bought a game and I assigned a role to each of my friends, and we all had to play the role during the night, and one of us was a murderer, and we had to ask questions and basically solve the mystery of who is the murderer inside of our circle of friends. And it was really, really fun. Everybody enjoyed it. It was a nice party. I was really happy. So that was 3 weeks ago, and the day after I was ill, pretty ill. I had a bad cough. How do you call it? Yeah, bad cough or something. And it lasted during the whole week. I was really in bad shape. But weirdly enough, I was coughing only when I was staying still, like at work and at night. So I couldn't sleep for the whole week. But whenever I was moving, like working or doing stuff, or I even went climbing some nights, I wasn't coughing at all because I was, I don't know, active. So it was a bit strange. Not sure what happened. So on the weekend, we had planned a trip with some friends to go climbing in Ticino, which is an Italian-speaking part of Switzerland. And I was ill, but I knew the more I moved and the less ill I felt. So I decided to go anyway. And it was really fun. It was really nice. I was kind of feeling low energy, but I still managed to climb enough for me to be happy with. And yeah, it was a really, really cool trip. But one epic thing happened. On the second night, on Saturday night, we went out. We were four. There was my boyfriend and a couple of friends. So we went out to eat at a restaurant, and when we came out of the restaurant, it was dark out. We took the bus and we took the road, and there was a big, like a curve in the road that was doing like an S. And the middle of the S, there was a train track that was going over the road, which means there was a little tunnel. That was like maybe 5 meters deep. And so the first curve of the S was before the tunnel, the flat part of the S was under the tunnel, and then there was another curve at the end. On the first curve, you could go, if you didn't turn, you could basically go inside the forest. There was a little road that went into the forest, but it's really like a dirt road. So we arrived there, and I could see a girl walking, not a girl, a woman. She was like maybe my age, 30 years old or something like that. And she was trying to, you know, those triangle signs that you put when you have a car accident. You have to put this triangle sign above the road so that people can know there is something happening and stop before crashing in your car, basically, because you are stopped in the middle of the road. So there was a woman trying to mount one of those triangle signs, but she was just having trouble with it and she couldn't understand how to make it work. So I told my boyfriend to stop the bus, and I went down and went to the woman and said, "Do you need help maybe for your sign?" And she was like, "Yeah, I don't know how to do." And I could see right from the beginning, she was not drunk, but she clearly had taken some vitamins, if you see what I mean. But she was not drunk. So I went to her and I said, okay, just give me that, I will help you. And so I started to put the sign correctly. And I asked her, "What's happening? Do you have a problem? Do you need help? Do you need to call the police or something?" And she said, "No, I have no idea what's happening with my car, but it's stopped in the middle of the road and I need to move it because I'm blocking the circulation. Can you help me?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, I'll help you." So I put the sign on the road, went back to the car with my friends, and I said, "Okay, we need to get closer to her car because she needs help to move it. So maybe we can push it or something." And my boyfriend said, "Okay, I will just move the bus closer." And I followed the woman to her car, and I saw the car, and it was in the middle of the road, like really on the white line, in the middle of the curve, it was actually under the tunnel, so it was between the two S curves. And I saw the car and I was like, I don't think we will be able to move it, because basically you see a car and there are 4 wheels, 2 to the front and 2 to the back, and one of the front wheels, instead of being like in the direction in which you drive, it was turned 90 degrees, and it was just completely out of the, I don't know how you call it, but yeah, there was no way of moving it. Again, it was just stuck in that 90-degree position, so you couldn't move the car because the wheel was preventing the car from moving. And I was like, how did you do that? There was no other car on the other side of the road, so she did not hit a car, and I couldn't see anything around me, so I couldn't see how she went there. And also it was night, so I couldn't see well around me. So I said to her, I don't think we can move your car. I think you need to just call the police or whatever, do something. But yeah, and also we need to stop the circulation going from the other direction, because she was under the tunnel and at the end of another curve, and the people were coming like 80 kilometers from the other direction, so they had to really brake really, really hard to not hit the car that was in the middle of the road. So I went back to my friends and I said, okay, we need to go to the other side. We could just squeeze through between the tunnel and the car. We need to stop at the other side and tell the cars to stop before they hit this one in the middle of the road. So we did that, and then I came back to the woman and said, we really need to call the police there. You are blocking the whole road. So as I said, she was not really clean. And she said, no, don't call the police. I called the garage. It's okay. They are going to come and take my car. It's okay. We just need to move the car. And I was like, no, we cannot move your car. It was getting kind of difficult to communicate with her, because she was obviously in a difficult situation, and also I don't think her mind was really clear. And yeah, she probably didn't really grasp what was happening. So yeah, we just stopped the bus there, and we had to wait for like 20 minutes until something else happened. But during those 20 minutes, we understood what happened to that woman. Actually, I think she probably was somewhere else with her mind, and she missed the first curve. So she could have just gone straight into the road that went into the forest, but there was a little bit of, how do you call that? There was a tiny concrete wall, but like 20 centimeters high, that was stopping just before the part where you could leave the road to go to the forest. And she probably just hit that little bit of wall with her wheel, which is why the wheel got completely out of the frame. And so she did that all alone. She didn't hurt anybody, she didn't hurt herself, fortunately. She just broke her car and ended up in the middle of the curve, because she hit that little bit of wall. And it's really unfortunate, because if it was just 10 centimeters more to the side, she would have hit nothing, and she would have just taken the road to the forest and ended up in the forest, and it would have been nothing. But she did hit that little bit of wall, and so yeah, she was stuck in the middle of the road. And then she came back to us, and she was really, really startled, and she was like, oh, I really need to move my car. There is a how do you call them? There is a bus, but like we had a small, like a Volkswagen van that's big, but not too big, like it's just for 4 people. And there was a big bus, like the ones, like the car bus or something. I don't know how you call them in English, but whatever. There was this that was stuck at the other side of the road, because this one was too big to go between the car and the tunnel. So she was like, we really need to move the car because they're gonna call the police. I said, no, even if they call the police, we cannot move your car, sorry. And at this moment, there was another big bus that came from the other side, so I had to stop them before they crashed into her in the curve. So I went to the driver of the bus. It's difficult because in French, car is a bus. And in English, car is a car. So yeah, I'm kind of mixing them up, sorry. Anyway, so I went to the driver of the bus, and said, "You cannot pass, there is a car in the middle of the tunnels, and there is another bus that's stuck on the other side, so maybe talk with him and do something, I don't know." And I think they called the police, which is pretty obvious. And they did a really smart thing. They switched their passengers. So we could see passengers from one bus going under the tunnel and sawing the car, and they were like, "What happened there?" and going to the other one, and etc. So, nice move from the buses. And then I was continuing to tell the cars to stop, and they could pass under the tunnel but slowly, so I was kind of occupied, and in the corner of my eye, I saw the woman going back to her car, taking her bag and her stuff, and just leaving in the forest. She just left. She decided, I don't belong here anymore. She just went in the forest, but she was wearing pumps when I saw her at the beginning of all of that. And I was like, she's not gonna walk in her high heels shoes for for a long time. And she did take them off. So she was walking barefoot, basically. And I was like, is she going barefoot into the forest? Nothing made sense. But I was occupied with the road and the cars and everything, so I just forgot to tell my friends about it. And they didn't notice. So 10 minutes later, the police did arrive, and there was a male officer and a woman, and both of them came to us and they asked, "Did you see what happened? Can you tell us some information?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, the woman, she had an accident, blah blah blah." We explained everything, and then I said, "And she took her stuff and she left into the forest." And my friends look at me and they were, "What? When did she left?" And I was, "Oh, sorry, maybe I should have told you, because we could have stopped her and told her, don't do that, you're just going to put yourself into trouble if you leave the scene of, not the crime, but the scene of accident." But I forgot to tell the others, so we couldn't stop her, so she just disappeared in the forest in the middle of the night. I'm finding it funny because I don't think she went really far, and the police officers were really quick to act, and I think they found her pretty quickly, and she didn't hurt anybody, she didn't hurt herself. And the worst that happened is she broke a car and she put herself into trouble. But if she could drive, we would have called the police right away, because she would be dangerous to others on the road, but it wasn't the case. So that's why we just made it so that there wouldn't be more damage to others. Anyway, so then we wanted to leave because it was getting kind of late and we didn't want to spend our whole night there, but we were like, yeah, but if we leave now, it's gonna be suspicious from the policemen, because we are just 4 people that are there staring at what's happening and giving some weird information and then leaving. Like, it's really suspicious. So we were kind of afraid to leave, so we had to wait for another 20 minutes until the police finished their inspection of the whole place. And finally I went to the police woman and asked if we could leave, so I had to give her my identity and my number so that they could call me if they needed. And then after this we could finally leave. So that was our weird Saturday night where we find a woman that had an accident, didn't hurt anybody, but she left barefoot in the forest. She probably had some other illegal stuff in her bag, so I guess she got some pretty hard trouble, and I hope it was okay in the end, but I don't think the situation was dangerous to anybody's well-being. I wouldn't find it this funny otherwise, but it was just... And when I told the police officer she left in the forest, the guy really said, "Oh, very well, okay. Oh, she left, okay, very well." And then he left, and I was, what, very well? There's a woman barefoot in the forest and it's very well? I don't know. Anyway, so that was last weekend. And that was my life, basically. So I hope it was entertaining to you. This episode was short on knitting content and long on story time, but I hope you liked it. And I'm gonna be back next week, I hope, probably, maybe, with the other 2 finished objects I have, and with, I hope, a lot more progress on my Lanark sweater. And until then, you can subscribe if you don't want to miss the video. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a good day and happy knitting. Bye.